Snow drifted across the quiet little town in slow, swirling waves as the door of O'Neill's general store swung open, spilling warm light onto the cold ground outside. Out of the doorway stepped a small girl, no older than 9, clutching a brown paper bag against her chest while trying to balance herself on a single wooden crutch. Her fragile leg was wrapped in a rough cloth bandage that peeked out from her torn jeans, and every time she attempted to put the slightest bit of weight on it, her face tightened with pain she was trying so hard to hide. Beside her walked a German shepherd who, despite his own front leg being wrapped in a blood-stained bandage, stayed close to her as if the duty of guarding her mattered more than his injury or the freezing wind cutting across the parking lot. Before we begin, don't forget to hit like, repost, or share. And I'm really curious, where are you watching from? Drop your country in the comments. I love seeing how far our stories travel. Back to the story. The dog limped in perfect rhythm with her, every step heavy, slow, and careful, as though he feared she might fall if he moved too fast. Snowflakes clung to his thick fur, collecting on his back, while his breathing came out in short puffs of steam. Even in his weakened state, his eyes remained alert and focused entirely on the little girl, who looked far too lonely and frightened to be out in this kind of weather. Nothing about the scene felt ordinary, and that was exactly what caught the attention of 3 bikers who had just pulled into the parking lot on their rumbling motorcycles. Their engines shut off almost at the same moment the girl stumbled forward, and the leader of the group, a tall man with tired eyes and the kind of posture that suggested a lifetime of hard experiences, froze mid-step as he watched her struggle in the snow. His expression shifted from confusion to concern in a matter of seconds, and before he even realized he was moving, he had already taken several steps toward her. The girl, startled by his approach, tried to hurry away, but her weak leg buckled under her weight, sending her groceries tumbling out of the paper bag and rolling across the snowy ground. Her dog immediately braced himself under her arm in an attempt to keep her from falling, pushing through the pain in his own injured limb without a moment's hesitation. The biker stopped, raising both hands gently as if approaching a frightened deer. He could see the fear in her red, exhausted eyes, and it made something inside him twist painfully. "It's all right," he said in a calm, steady voice. "I'm not trying to scare you. You just look like you could use a little help." The girl clutched the crutch tighter. Her voice trembled as she replied, "We're fine. I just need to get Max home. He's hurt." She glanced down at the dog, who tried to stand taller despite the obvious pain radiating from his injured paw. The second biker crouched several feet away, careful not to make sudden movements, as he asked, "Kid, what happened to both of you?" For a moment she said nothing. Then her lower lip quivered, and she whispered, "It was my dad." The air around them seemed to freeze even more sharply. The leader's jaw clenched as she continued, explaining in fragile, broken words that her father often came home furious and unpredictable, lashing out at anything within reach. The previous night, he had attacked Max with a shovel when the dog tried to protect her, and when she attempted to pull him away, her father struck her too. She waited until he passed out drunk, then climbed out through a broken window, gathering what little courage she had left to buy bandages for Max with the few dollars she had saved. The bikers exchanged heavy glances, anger simmering beneath their controlled expressions. The leader knelt slowly in front of Max, allowing the dog to sniff his hand. "You did everything you could, boy," he murmured, impressed by the animal's loyalty. Max didn't growl. He was simply too exhausted to do anything except lean protectively toward Amy, the girl who finally revealed her name in a voice so small it barely carried over the wind. The leader introduced himself and explained that they belonged to a group called the Iron Guardians, a motorcycle club that prided itself on protecting those who had no one else to defend them. "You're safe with us, Amy," he said firmly. "You don't have to walk through this storm alone."
She stared at him with disbelief, insisting softly that no one had ever cared enough to help her. The man shook his head gently and replied, "Well, someone should have, and we're not about to walk away now." He picked up her scattered groceries, handed her the bag, and then, without hesitation, lifted Max into his arms as if the dog weighed nothing at all. Amy gasped, terrified he might hurt her companion, but the biker simply adjusted his grip and said, "This guy needs real help, and you need warmth, food, and rest. We're taking you both with us."
They placed Amy on one motorcycle, wrapping her securely in a thick leather jacket to protect her from the piercing wind, and positioned Max carefully across the leader's lap as they rode toward their clubhouse, keeping their speed low so as not to jostle either of them. The moment they arrived, the men hurried her inside, offering blankets, hot soup, and a space near the heater while another biker prepared the first aid kit. When they unwrapped Max's bandage, the deep wound made even seasoned bikers wince. The leader refused to waste time. "We're taking him to a vet right now," he declared, "and don't even think about paying for it. This one's on us." Amy's eyes filled with tears as she asked why they would go so far for someone they didn't even know. The leader paused, looked her straight in the eyes, and said, "Because when I was your age, someone saved me from a place just as bad. I promised I'd do the same someday." At the vet clinic, Max endured the pain with extraordinary courage, refusing to whine even once, while Amy held his face between her hands, whispering that he had to stay with her because he was all she had. The vet assured her that Max was strong, brave, and going to survive with the right treatment. Hours later, with Max resting comfortably and Amy finally warm, the bikers took the next step, filing a police report that ensured her father could never legally come near her again. When Amy tearfully asked what would happen to her now, the leader knelt beside her, resting a hand on her shoulder, and told her she wouldn't be alone anymore. She would stay with them, not as a burden, but as family. Amy burst into tears of relief and buried her face into Max's fur, while the bikers exchanged proud, quiet smiles. For the first time in her life, Amy stepped into a home where she wasn't afraid, a home where she and her loyal dog were finally safe, wanted, and loved. This story touched millions of hearts. Did it touch yours? Let us know with a like, comment yes, and subscribe or follow for more amazing stories like this.